Greetings and salutations. I said again, I was going to try to record at least once a day. And so I was on YouTube, and I was looking at, first it was a video on Dr. Prophetess or Prophetess Dr. Juanita Bynum. And it took me back because I remember the No More Sheets. I had No More Sheets parties and shit like that. I mean, I was up on it. I mean, I had to be. I had to, prove that to others, really. And I guess a little bit to myself, that God was real, Jesus was real, and I didn't want heaven was real, hell was real. I didn't want to go to hell. I wanted to go to heaven. So I had to question myself. This was back maybe early 2000s. I remember I was in class. I was in college, whatever. But anyway, I was in class on break or whatever. And I got to thinking, because I was like, man, why do I believe in a God? And it really boiled down to me just really saying, I didn't want to go to hell. And then that led to me like thinking like, okay, you don't want to go to hell, you want to go to heaven. This me. You want to go to heaven, so you got to do the things that it takes to get to heaven. You got to believe in a God, and you have to believe in that God that your mama, your grandmama told you about. Hey, cuzzo. You got to believe in that God that, your mama them told you about, that helped your mama, that's your mama, your aunts, your uncles, that they believe in. And so, we don't question God. We don't question why we are Christians. If you are a Christian, be there. If you are a Muslim or whatever you believe in, you have to understand why you are believing in that thing. Well, I believed in a God because I did not want to go to hell, which now I got to thinking and, researching it. Researching is the best thing a person could ever do. I couldn't find any proof of a heaven. I could not find a proof of a God. So what do I do? That's where I was at. I was like a couple of years ago. Well, really a couple of months ago. What do I do? And then it's something in me said, believe in yourself. People don't believe in themselves. Like, there was never a sky daddy that got you a raise, or that put you in a position to wherever you needed to or you wanted to be. How you got there is because you researched or you willed your way in. You got around people that could help you to get to this next level. So I got to thinking, I said, well, if there is no sky daddy, and it's always been me. It's always been me. Like, a sky daddy didn't get me a raise. A sky daddy did not give me the inventions like this blackout. A sky daddy did not give me, that recipe. I was talking to the ancestors, and y'all probably trip. How the hell do you talk to the ancestors? Well, how the hell do you talk to a God? How does God keep touching your life that you say? I found out, like, with God and whatever this construction, it was all built on what these white folks told us is true. And we just believed it. We looked at them and we saw them on horses. We saw them, living the fabulous life. They make themselves look good to the slaves. So what do you think the slaves gonna do? The slaves just gonna, hey, how you doing? The slaves just gonna just think, well, the masters is right. The masters are right because they eating lovely, they dressing lovely, they got everything that I want to have. So That's where it is now. Cause I'm sitting back saying to myself, and y'all can give me some thumbs up or whatever, some hearts or whatever. If y'all believe the slaves got off the boat speaking English, if y'all believe slaves got off the boat writing English, y'all believe that, give me some thumbs up. And I know y'all can't. Y'all can't believe that because we already had our own gods. We already had our own gods in Africa. We already had a dynasty before they came to Africa to come and get us. They like to erase all of the history. Hey, how you doing? Thank y'all for tuning in. They like to erase all of our history. We have to go and find out our history. We have to go out. Y'all believe that? And give me some thumbs up if y'all can say that y'all believe in a God, their God. The God that has been constructed here and all over the world. And if you go, look, Africa has they speak 150 different languages in that continent alone. How did we go from these pyramids to the ghetto? Yeah, ain't nobody thought about that. Don't nobody believe in a doctor, but you send your children, or you go to the doctor to be healed. You don't go to this sky daddy to be healed. Some people, hey, how you doing? Some people just will say, well, because everybody around me and that I know, they believe in a God, I must have to believe in a God. Something is to this God. Well, I don't even know about all of that because we not being honest with ourselves. Most people are saved. Most people go to church just to fit in, to prove to somebody that there is a God that I believe in. We don't want to be wrong. That's the thing. We don't want to be wrong. Well, it's cool. Most people in my family believe in God. It was a shock to them. I have an aunt, she's been married to this preacher, this pastor, my entire life. I've never seen her or him with anybody else. I've never seen it. And they believe in God, and that's the glue that keeps them together, because they have a slick fear. I just believe most Christians, most Muslims or whatever, they believe in their deity or whatever. They believe in it because they don't want the alternatives. But the thing about it is, where are the graves of the 12 disciples? Where is Mary's grave? We don't even think about stuff like that. We just take it. We just go with it. We just go with the flow. We just believe it. But give me some thumbs up if y'all believe that slaves got off the boat speaking English. Give me some thumbs up or some hearts if y'all believe that slaves got off the boat knowing how to write English. Whatever. We already had our gods. God Ra, the sun god. We already had these gods. We didn't explain. We didn't break it down to one god. It wasn't a mono god. It was a plethora of gods, because we couldn't explain in Africa how the hell is the Euphrates River flowing back and forth. How is that happening? So you know what happened? I'm doing research. I keep telling y'all, research. If you research, you will find out. You will find out. A lot of this stuff, again, give me some thumbs up if y'all believe that slaves got off the boat speaking English and writing English. We wouldn't be here, because we wouldn't be here. If y'all read slave narratives, y'all would learn how, like Frederick Douglass, I just use him as an example because y'all can picture him. Y'all know how he looks. Frederick Douglass, has an amazing story. He has an amazing story. Dude was I was reading his slave narratives. Anyway, long story short, he tricked some of the white kids into teaching him how to read and how what the letters, how to sound out the letters and shit like that. He was doing it on the shipyard. He was telling these little white boys like, yeah, I know how to read. They were all like, nah, you don't know how to read. How the hell you know? Can you read this? And he was like, I know what this word is and stuff like. I mean, it was just trickery. It's just trickery. Some slave, some of the misses, they taught the other slaves how to read and stuff like that. You know, I ain't saying I'm all the way right. I'm not telling anybody not to believe in a God, because I really feel like you should believe in something. I choose to believe in myself. Anything that I have or don't have, it's because I didn't do it myself or somebody didn't give it to me. I mean, there was no sky daddy in my life. I thought that. I was taught that there was a God, there was a heaven, there was a hell. I was taught that. You were taught that. You can't get it out your mind. You will fight anybody to say, you know, there is a God, there is a, you know, Muslim God, there is a Jewish God, there is a God. Well, that's fine. I don't want you not to believe, because if that's what gets you through, that's what got you through, or that's what's getting you through. I'm just saying, when you die, you just gonna die. When I die, I'm just going to die. And there is no afterlife. No one has ever come back. Nobody has ever come back. You've been to the funerals. Nobody came back. You know what you say? I've heard the voice of whomever the dead person is. I felt him, or I felt her, or I felt them. That's all in your mind. You know, I still hear my dead aunts. I still hear my Aunt Marshall telling, fight on. I hear that in my head. I still feel like she is here, because I needed her to be here. So I pulled her up in my mind, and I can still hear her saying, go head on. Don't give up. I still hear her saying it. Y'all don't understand the way the mind works. The mind is fucking powerful. Memories, people don't really ever just die. People don't really just die. You think of a person that died and that you know and love, and you can still feel them. So anyways, just getting back to the subject at hand. I don't believe in God anymore. I have my reasons why I don't believe in God. I'm not trying to convince y'all that there is or isn't a God. What I'm saying is that I have an alternative to a God that I was told or taught was real. So after I did my research, I found out that, yeah, there is no God. And I ain't trying to convince y'all. I'm not trying to convince anybody. You do your own research. If you want to still stay there and believe that this is what it is, then I salute you. I give you thumbs up. I'm clapping. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm clapping because, you know, life is what it is. Life is what it is. Each generation finds something different to build on. I mean, like, I bet in the 70s when these blacks were getting together and you know, making movies and trying to do some things, I'm for sure the black folk were doing it. They were doing it. We have pictures to prove. What we don't even know about is, after slavery, most black people had their own businesses. Most black people, why? Because they wouldn't sell to us. So I look at my mentor, Fannie Lou Hamer. I think she had like a 6th grade education or something. Well, you know what? In Mississippi, she got the farm. She planted seeds and stuff. She did all of this because they wasn't feeding them. They wasn't doing the right thing. But you know what? The slaves had, and I was reading this book. I was, in college. I was reading this book. Forgot the name of it, but the master slave narrative. And how the slaves, they knew how to do everything, but once they left, once the slaves left, the masters was sitting there. They didn't know how to do anything. They didn't know how to feed themselves. They didn't know how to clean themselves. They didn't know how to do all of these things. But they convinced us that there is a God. They convinced us that there is a white God on a horse looking over us while we pick the cotton. That's all I'm saying. I don't believe in a God. And that's why I have no proof. I researched. Have no proof. Y'all be peace. And invest. Investing is the best thing you could do in your life. Invest. Y'all be, again, peace.